welcome. So today we are going to Eckersleys Art and Craft in Lutwich. Not open today because it is a public holiday, but doesn't matter for this use case. So, let's go. It's a bit of a backwards route here, but I didn't have my camera set up properly, so I'm gonna make do. It's also a good tester here though, see how slow it goes for industrial areas. This is the average speed it goes. Not something the tradies would agree with, but that's fine. Can't be pleased. I would be driving on the left side of the road, obviously, so that's okay. It's kind of driving in the middle of the road right now. It's always a bit, it gets confused with roads that don't have lane lines. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it just doesn't really know what to do. So I've chosen this route because this is a route I hate doing myself. Because it's very, you gotta know the lanes you gotta be in ahead of time. So it's gonna be a bit of a discovery, because if FSD is in the wrong lane, I may not even know it. So it's gonna be a bit of a discovery journey, really. I'm sort of normally on the ball when it comes to lights going green. I normally just, because I'm paying attention, I just sort of go when I see the light go green pretty well immediately. That's fine, that's a good roll for it. This guy is like in our lane. I just don't understand why people need to freaking swing wide like a B-double in a Camry. Oh man. Anyway, I'm gonna try and minimize POE. Acceleration presses as much as I can. If I do it, like here, I'll mark it. I'm going to try and incorporate some kind of a status bar at the top of the video, just to sort of mark its performance over time, and it's going to be a good benchmark to then use on repeat trips, because this is what I'm hoping will be a good test loop through different iterations of FSD. So hopefully having that clear status bar at the top of the video will be like an easy at-a-glance visual reference of where FSD is falling down. It's meant to be 37 degrees today. I am not keen on that. So if the phone doesn't melt in the sun, but it's pretty early. Fine. Coming up to an intersection here, FSD seems to have judged that it's not going to block it, presumably. It's pretty good at that, actually. That's one thing I've found it be pretty well flawless at, is judging whether it can enter an intersection or not. And it typically won't do it if it sort of doesn't trust that it can make it. Overtake because it was getting way too close to the car in front. It needs to just chill. If it's going to make an overtaking maneuver, just do it. There's no point having that aggressive approach up the rear. This is about as straight and open and wide as roads get in Brisbane. The rest of them are just, you'll see on the way back, the rest of them is not great. Same, we need to turn left. 5 meters. No. Verge left, probably in 5 kilometers. Same. Good merge there. I wouldn't have done that, but I'm also very conservative. Just That's why I don't bother changing lanes, because what in the moment feels like the slower lane ends up often being not the case 30 seconds down the road. And I find that if I switch lanes all the time, I end up getting to the destination at basically the same time, but with less effort if I just stay in the same lane road. So that's my perspective on things. Interesting situation. That car's going to verge into our lane, and perfect adjustment there. This guy's like in my lane on the right hand side. Just to adjust it fine. adjustment there for the motorcycle. I would not be following this close. Personally, I'm going to disengage it. Following way too close though. To that motorcycle. I find it does that sometimes. It will sort of... Someone will get in front of it and it just won't back off. It'll be like 2 car lengths away from the motorcycle, which is not good. That is not good. If he comes off, it doesn't leave you any room to adjust. That's the most awkward thing I've ever experienced. So it goes off at the light there, and then it thinks it's a 30 zone. And this guy now thinks I'm racing him because I fucking slowed down. I should have gone right there actually. I'm waiting for the 30 zone to end. I don't think it's going to see it. That's 60 sign now. 60. So it's going to have to do a U-turn up ahead. I don't think it can do a U-turn here, so I'm going to disengage. It's going to try and do a U-turn. This back road, this guy through. No one waves these days. Probably could have let FSD do that, but yeah. That's my bad. I tried to not re-engage like mid-turn. On certain situations, if you re-engage, the system kind of gets freaked out. And that's when it sort of does things that it shouldn't do. Fine. FSD can definitely get unsettled. Like it gets into a state where when it is unsure, that's when it makes a lot more mistakes. So I try to avoid that. The silence is coming in. Oh, okay. Didn't disengage. Bit of a brake stutter there. This is going to be interesting coming down this road here. Oh. Okay. It's a bit tight. A little bit tight. FSD knows exactly how big it is, so it's all good. So it's going to be an unprotected left turn. Let's see how we go. Ready to brake. That's not good. I wouldn't have pulled out that. It's going to the right lane. Yeah, I'm not adjusting the wheel at all there. You saw what FSD did there. Very weird. It tried to go into the right lane and then it adjusted. It needs to turn left here. This is the moment where like FSD just makes me look like a drunk driver, and that's why I'm not really a big fan. But most of the time, I'll put into the parking lot here. Make sure my camera is still working. Alright. So okay, it's figured that out. That's good. This is going to be an interesting trip. Back out here. I'm just going to get us out this parking lot because it is a bit of a steep one. And I just want to Give this a move. Alrighty. Let's go. Cool, keeping left, that's good. Didn't expect to do otherwise, but that's good. Now I think the reason why FSD did that weird steering wheel maneuver before is because they gave it a bit of acceleration. Now what happens when you give FSD acceleration when it's not expecting it? Well, it doesn't have any expectation, but when you give it an input like that, it causes it to rethink everything, including steering. So I'm guessing what would happen if I hadn't accelerated to make that pulling out in front of the car less awkward, is that it would have probably just gone into the right lane. And then, it's a bit slow for these roundabouts, that's very unsure. Let me exit that. It probably would have gone the right lane, then merge left, take that over. But I guess we'll never know. In those situations I wouldn't normally give POE unless... That's fine to go here. It just needs to make stuff a bit faster. Like when it's making a maneuver like that, it just needs to do it quickly. It's just a bit awkward when there's a car coming. And the car is just sort of very slowly turning in. But it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If I don't POE, it's awkward because I'm slowly cutting in front of the car. If I do POE, then accelerate, then it has a chance of stuffing up the maneuver, so I'll probably need to start erring on the side of not accelerating. I don't think it'll ever have a collision or anything like that, but it does influence details in unexpected ways, which is not great. So this route should take us through quite a bit of suburbia and take us through a bit of a tricky roundabout. Speed for here is good. This is a very busy road, so I gotta be careful here. This is a 60 km/h road. Traffic comes through the tunnel very quickly. We have a gap. We need to move quickly. Good. Very good acceleration now. For the most part, FSD is fine. My biggest issues right now with it are decision making and speed and smoothness. Decision making pulling out in front of cars when it shouldn't. Going under speed in sections where it shouldn't. And just the smoothness entering multi-lane roads. Speed also is a factor in situations like this where we're turning right and the car goes 20 or less through the turn. Situations like this is probably going to get masked by a truck here, but let's see which lane it's going to go into. Is it going to do a weird adjustment? No, that's actually pretty smooth. It handles each drive differently because each drive is different. Temperature monitoring is unavailable. Interesting, I'm only wearing glasses, so it shouldn't really be affecting it. You need to turn left in 600 meters, so I'm glad it's stuck in this lane. intention monitoring back on. You can tell when intention monitoring is on. I don't know if you can see it at 1080p, but green dot next to the autopilot symbol. Now it's picked up a 40 zone, but it knows that it's not time, I'm guessing, or it's just ignoring it. It's going to be another unprotected turn here. Let's see if we have to give BOE. So, if we're lucky, straight through we'll get a green light. Okay, we've got a green. This black Suzuki is going to turn in front of us. Good, it's going to wait. It could have gone there, it has its own lane, but it's sort of just, it's very conservative. That's the defensive thing to do. I'm going to get it over into the right lane here, preferably. That's the right thing to do in a defensive driving sense, because you just never know if the person who's turning is going to go into the left lane or the right lane. So, and you can't assume that they're paying attention, so the best thing to do is to just not go. This left lane merges across into the right lane after this signal. I would not be in this lane. Yeah, good. Wait a bit late there. Now it's probably going to try and get in the left lane. I know what you're going to do. No. I'm sorry, Dronus. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, it's just not me. Now right there, it was objectively the right choice to get into that left lane and engage in a bit of traffic light run P. But I just don't, it's not my cup of tea. But oh well. That's okay. It's not that I don't think FSD will win, it's more the fact that I think what will happen is that it won't accelerate enough, and then it will force the Ranger in front of us to have to back off to let us in. It's happened so often that I just... The way I treat FSD is that I just don't want to be awkward on the road. I don't want to make situations more awkward than they need to be. And FSD does that a lot of the time. And again, it's a preference thing. And at the end of the day, the driver is the one supervising, and we can only ever make decisions based on our own preferences. So my preference is to not race at one of the lights, but everyone does it. Like I'm pretty sure I'm like the only person on the face of the earth that doesn't. So. School zone doesn't adjust, that's good. It has a little clock symbol there, so that to me implies that it knows. Okay, we can exit Old Northern Road from the. You have to be in the right lane here. That's good. So that's fine. No, we have to be in. Have to disengage that. We have to be in the right lane to exit on the third exit. So. I don't really want to let it do its thing for this roundabout, because this is a really hectic roundabout. It's again, okay, wanting to be in the left lane. I'm just going to manage it through here. That's unfortunate. I don't think it can handle that roundabout. The navigation clearly is broken there in that direction. It handles it fine coming southbound. So I guess I like this, getting over early. So I guess coming from that direction, the navigation doesn't really work that well. That, or maybe it was going to go through correctly, but it was indicating improperly. Either way, I wasn't really going to risk it doing something illegal on the roundabout. That's my preference. Personally, I would be in the right lane, only because I know that FSD is way too close to this scooter here. Way too close. It was doing that because it was planning on overtaking, but it needs to do that peacefully. That's probably going to change left here. I can tell because it's right up this guy's arse. Way too close. There is no need to position that aggressively. If he had to brake for some reason, like FSC is going to have to do an emergency brake though. That's not good. It's been a pretty good drive so far. FSD's handled the speeds pretty good. As always, handles the navigation. The lane's fine. For some time there, it was hugging the left or right side of the lane. After the Christmas update, I've not had that issue. I've also not had the issue on highways where it does weird oscillation on the lane. That's improved, that's really good. That made me car sick, so I'm glad that sort of wandering is fixed. Good roll up the lights here, easy adjustment as we get moving again. Put it in the right lane, because it does need to be in the right lane ahead, I believe. Good for it to change into the left lane soon. Now this is where it's going to be a bit awkward. I'll just put this to +10. So I'm going to get to the left lane here. Because the car is about to slow down a little bit. And the car right behind us. And there's the 40s going. Interestingly, it set itself to a max speed of 56 for here. Now that's, I've got a 10% offset. 56 is not a 10% increase on 40. That's interesting. I don't know what that behavior is about. I'm going to put it back to 5%. Trying to use the profiles as it normally would, why are you changing into the right lane now? Actually no, there's no reason for us to change into the right lane here. Let's go to here. Now, the route that I just gave it was a destination right there. FSD decided to move into the right lane. No idea why. We're going to have traffic coming from the right here. Never mind, green. Yeah, I don't know why I got into the right lane there. That marker was on the corner though, so interesting. It needs to immediately get good. Sometimes it kind of does itself. No. You need to keep going straight ahead. It will do itself a mischief and try to go around a car, but then it gets stuck, not being able to turn left. It's just like, the problem is, if you're stuck in this right lane, you have to go to frickin' Sydney. Like, there's no getting around it. So, let's go really slow. Accelerator here. It's just the way the roads are through here, it just is what it is. Unprotected left turn here. We've got 2 lanes to work with, so let's see what it does. We've got an opening here, it might take it. It does, good. Cars are approaching quickly, we need to get into the right lane for a turn in 1 kilometer. I'm going to let it do its thing, see what it does. Have that behavior, but again, nothing's heard. So that was a 300 meter change. That's not the standard 200 meter change. That's interesting. Interesting. Postpone indicator there. I'm not sure why I did that. It probably was deciding whether that was the place to turn or not. Okay, so I've got a roadside marker here. Let's see what it does. Let's see if it pulls over. Shout out to Pit Stop Snack Bar. Great place. Great food. Great people. It's slowing down way too early here. It's probably because it's right near the destination and it's figuring out what it can do. No, it's going to reroute around the block, so let's not do that. That was a pretty good drive. So, a bit of a, I suppose, summary. Pretty good. Speed control was good the whole way through. Only awkward moments we had were going along Gympie Road once we reached Lutwich. Car got off at the lights, and about 2 seconds after getting off the lights, it picked up a 30 zone and a 60 zone, started to slow down hard. Motorcycles, I believe, behind, not that close. Just made it a bit awkward. It then tried to do an illegal U-turn to get back to the destination. I disengaged there. Took it through suburbs, and then when it was doing an unprotected left turn back into the main road, I applied some acceleration, which caused it to jitter a bit. And it eventually got into the left lane, and then from there it was fine, I believe. Roundabouts, it didn't handle the roundabout at Bridgeman Downs very well. It kept trying to indicate left, which isn't the right thing to do in that situation. We're taking the third exit. The sign clearly showed, it doesn't read signs obviously, but the sign clearly showed you have to be in the right lane to take that third exit. I'm not sure whether the car would have taken the left lane. It seemed to be staying in the right lane despite the fact it was indicating, so I'm not sure about that case. I wasn't going to let it do a sing because I don't stuff around with roundabouts. I don't want it doing something illegal or dangerous or both. So beyond that, pretty well fine. Only other weirdness was when we got to, I put in a custom marker which was on the left-hand side of the road. About 300 meters out from that destination, FSD got into the right lane for some reason. I cancelled navigation, re-inputted our updated address, and from there it was fine, all the way to here. So, yeah, for that test loop, I'd say it's pretty well average for a drive for me. I'd average about 3 disengagements per drive, but nothing serious. I haven't had a serious disengagement in a while, but yeah, that was the Eckersleys Art and Crafts loop, I'm going to call that. So yeah, thanks for watching.